Hello, I'm Chuck Gold, and welcome to the Delaware Valley Original Music Showcase. Tonight, we continue our mission of helping support original music in the Delaware Valley with our three-step process. Listen, experience, and pass on original music in the Delaware Valley. But we need your help to get the word out. So let's get started. Tonight, we're changing things up a bit. We're not highlighting a performer, we're highlighting someone who's helped the original music scene. In the 1980s, there were some local cable access shows that highlighted original music. We meet Michael Schwartz and we look inside his show, Opening Acts, here on the Delaware Valley Original Music Showcase.
I got my fingers snapping, so watch for the pop. I got my alligator shoes on and I wanna rock. Hey Gus will keep the place open till 2:45. Yeah, there's a soul box in the corner, man, so come along with me. Let's rock! I got my daddy's wagon, it's parked on the street. It's got a little old engine, but a big back seat. It's got two flat tires, so bring along your pump. And if you pump, don't pump it now, we'll give it a jump. Let's jump!
So in the 80s, entirely different time than today, obviously. There was an amazing music scene back in the 80s. I think middle class, maybe it was a little stronger. People had more disposable income. There was an amazing number of restaurants and bars in the area that played live music. And I played Parrish too, and I love to go out and I love to see bands in particular. I really liked bands that did some originals, but not all covers. There were tons of places that you could go and see these bands. In the middle of this scene, a friend of mine that was taking television production classes at the University of Delaware, and for their final project, they could bring a band into their television production studio, which had all professional equipment, and videotape a band using 3 cameras and professional equipment. And then they would, it was usually a lip sync, and they would send the bands home with a professional format videotape that was called 3/4 inch pneumatic videotape cassette that is different size from a VHS. And somebody was taking television production classes there, a woman named Jan Muto, and she said, hey, there's these videotapes out there that bands have of their original music. And, you could go down to the local cable TV channel, Rollins, and for $60 you can get an hour. You get an hour's worth of airtime. So we said, maybe we get together. There was another gentleman that was part of it, Charles Lachlan McDonald. And the 3 of us started opening acts.
Hi, we're the Perron Johnson Band. This song is called Bear With Me. There are forces within me that want to quit rock and roll. Sometimes the tension gets so great I lose control. I have needs as a person, as a member
somebody at the time. There was a magazine at the time called Fine Times Magazine. Now it's Out and About, but before Out and About was Fine Times. And she worked there, and all the bands would send their schedules that would be posted in the back. So she had a mailing list of all bands that played and had sent the schedule there. And so we sent out a letter and we said, hey, if you have one of these videotapes, professional format, original music, was copyright issues, send it to us. We'll make a copy of it, we'll send it back to you. And we put together a bunch of TV shows and started airing them at Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock on Rollins Cable Channel 19. And we put together about maybe 12 shows. We kept running the same show for a whole month. And then that was the end of that. But again, the scene was fairly amazing.
I was playing guitar in a strange town and the hour was getting late. Looked like Penthouse Magazine and me had us a little date. Went from the corner, I heard a squealing, seemed like some honey caught the feeling. And a hometown angel got a crush on me. So I squinted out through the spotlight's glare. Lord, she looked just like a polar bear. Had one of them fuzzy white coats and skin-tight pink capris. Well, right then I stopped thinking, started drinking, started grinning, and started winking. By the end of the night, she looked like Cheryl Teagues. And I thought, you're the reason God made alcohol. It's amber light, protects us all from the spotlight glare of true reality. Well, amazing grace, just lead these eyes past your hairdo and your size. And I'll close my eyes and see you as I want you to be. Well, that night I drank from the overflowing cup. Then I tiptoed out in the morning before she got up. In the kindly darkness while she still looked like a queen. By that afternoon she was far behind, but her smell clung to my clothing and lingered in my mind. So I wrote these words about what she meant to me. And I say, you're the reason God made alcohol. It's amber light, protects us all from the spotlight glare of true reality. But amazing grace, just lead these eyes past your hairdo and your size. And I'll close my eyes and see you as I want you to be.
I became friends with a lot of the performers. Blue Rocks, Bad Sneakers, Crabney Thompson. I think maybe the high point is we actually, I don't know how many people remember this, but down at the Wilmington waterfront there was the Cutter Mohawk, which if I remember correctly was a World War II surplus cutter that was docked at the Wilmington waterfront. And we had a concert that we organized a concert, and hundreds of people showed up, and that probably was the high point.
Turn it up. Turn it up. Yeah, turn it up louder. Turn it up. I tell you right now, I can stand it no more. The fire you might hear come down right now. My cry, it don't sound good low. No, I gotta turn it up. All my friends say I don't know how you do it. It's just too loud when you get down to it. What can I say? I really like it this way. Yeah, I gotta turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up louder. Turn it up. Turn it up. Now you see, I really like it this way. All I wanna do when I come on that night is turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. Turn it up louder. Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up louder. Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up louder. Turn it up. You gotta. Turn it up louder. Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up louder. Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up.
But actually, the high point was now, recently. So back then, I was part of the scene, but I captured all of that. And so now, the best part is when somebody, is on Facebook and all of a sudden, there's a videotape of them playing in a band in 1983, and they have no memory whatsoever of that. I'll just get like, where did you get this? How did you find this? And I'm like, you sent it to me in 1983, and I sent it back to you, and then all of a sudden, their grandchildren are on there like, oh my God, that's my grandfather playing music when he was in his early 30s in Wilmington. Oh my God, that's so cool, So that really, I think, is the high point, is what's happening. The fact that I captured it and I'm able to share it today. I think that's more than what happened back then.
I got my fingers snapping, so watch for the pop. I got my alligator shoes on and I wanna rock. Hey Gus, will keep the place open till 2:45. Yeah, there's a soul box in the corner, man, so come along with me. Let's rock! I got my daddy's wagon, it's parked on the street.
Local music, local television. That's Opening Acts. Brought to you by Pica Productions. Local musicians deserve access to television. Local fans deserve programs they can enjoy. To tell us who you want to see or to get a band previewed, write us. That's Pica Productions.
So the videotapes that they got, so we were looking for, their main sources of videotapes were University of Delaware television production classes. Was a guy named Walt Reichel. And he was the one that would send them home with these videotapes. But the videotapes were not like they were real. They were called 3/4-inch pneumatic videotapes, and you needed a Sony 5600 $2,000 video player just to play the tapes so that you could make a copy. And then in order to edit them, you needed 2 decks, and you put one tape in one deck and one tape in another deck. The cassettes. Like they looked like big VHS tapes, and you needed an editing system. We didn't have an editing system, so we had to rent for $30 an hour time on an editing system to put together the show. We also sold commercials to Stanley's Tavern and different places. So we had to edit, we had to make our own commercials, we'd go out with cameras and stuff like that. But anyway, the actual process of videotaping of editing was you put one cassette in here, one cassette in here, and then you picked your start point. You couldn't just put it in pause and release it because it would glitch when it started. So it was like a computer thing, and you would mark your start point, and then both video decks would rewind to 5 seconds before the edit, and then they would run and play, and then 5 seconds later snap into the record mode, so there would be no glitch. And then if it was a 5-minute song, it had to run for all 5 minutes. So it was had to know what you were doing in order to videotape, and it wasn't cheap. I would say that was probably the most challenging part of it, was the actual technical part.
There's something called the girls too much. So she thinks she's a movie star. Well, I know it's true, 'cause look at the man she's been driving. Half the world thinks she's gone too far. Well, sometimes that's so, but look at the way she's been riding. Whoa, takes a while to get over her when she's on to someone new. The girl's too much. Look, don't touch. The girl's too much for me. For any man. Let's just say that she lacks finesse. I know it's so, but look at the way she's been hiding it. She gets herself in the biggest mess, and she walks with a smile, and you know she never came in. Whoa, takes a while to get over her, that she's on to someone new. The girl's too much. Ooh, don't touch. The girl's too much for me. But
talking about this, and he kept saying, "Oh, you have old videotapes. I was in this band and that band. Can you make a copy for me?" And my old video, I still had the tapes, but the video player that I had no longer worked. Finally, a DuPont surplus auction place, and there was a 3/4-inch video player for $15. So I bought it. I took it home and I cleaned up the heads with a little bit of alcohol and some Q-tips. It worked. And so I had all these videotapes in my closet that I stored all these years, and I stored them, in air conditioning, and they were stored correctly. And I fast forwarded and rewinded them every couple of years, because you really need to do that for any videotapes that you intend to keep. And then I bought a little adapter that allowed me to plug into the audio and video out of the video player and plug it into the side of my computer, and then I was able to upload it. So I made, I just came up with a name. This was 10 years ago, very inelegantly named The Music Scene in the 1980s, Wilmington, Delaware. Just started uploading, and it just kind of took off. The people that I knew, I would send them a link and say, "Hey, I just uploaded this videotape," and their friends would see it, and then I would upload them a little bit at 1 or 2 songs at a time. And the comments were, like I said, they were amazing. There was people that just couldn't believe that there was videotape of themselves. There was people that, it was their parents or their grandparents, or, and the quality is pretty good. And then eventually somebody said to me, "I want to show my parents, but they're not on Facebook. So can you put them on YouTube?" So I started putting it on YouTube, and I've had over 60,000 views on the YouTube channel. The thing about the Facebook is, when I first started putting them up like 10 years ago, there's comment pages, and the comment pages are, comments are great. I mean, some of the people that were in the bands hadn't seen each other in 20 years or 30 years. So it was like, all of a sudden there was, I was the bass player in that band. Oh my God! And all of a sudden there's the drummer. And they hadn't talked to each other since 1985. So that was pretty cool. There was a lot of those kind of things going on. And then there were people that would talk about, this was who was in the band and what happened to them. A couple of the bands had brushes with being famous. There was a band, Denny and the Dropouts. I think their producer became semi-famous. There's more about that. And YouTube, the quality I think is a little better on YouTube, but there are not many comments on YouTube. Facebook, you have the same song on both YouTube and Facebook. Facebook has much more. And the way that you go to that, if you go to the music scene in the 1980s, the first post, which is what they call the pin post, it always stays at the top no matter what else goes on. There is a link to a document that I put in there, and that in that document are links to everything, all of the videos that I uploaded previously. Otherwise, you have to scroll for years to get to where the videos are. So I did that at one point, so you just click on that, and there's the Blue Rocks and the Crabby Thompson and Jacket Diamonds and the Parent Johnson Band. You just click on that, and it takes you to the page in my Facebook group where that video is.